Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 95th episode of the HSBG podcast. I'm your host, Educator Collins, and I'm here with my constant co-host, Shady Bunny. Shady, how you doing?
I am excellent, Collins. How are you doing today?
I'm decent. I'm all right. I'm okay. I'm alive. We're back in the normal swing of things where I'm just like, okay now.
It's as much as you're getting out of me.
Yep.
All right, fair.
All right. Well, today we have some, I don't know, pretty interesting news this week. I think a lot of you guys know what's going on today. But before we get to that, we do have our weekly overview. And Shady, how was your week? How's everything going?
All right, good. Within the confines of the game, very good. I had that downswing right where I said like I'm figuring it out, and I think I figured it out. So
It's that easy.
yeah. So I'm up more than 1,000 from when we last spoke. So it's a good climb, steady climb. Good stuff. More confidence, pushing for wins, and just I think a little bit more going just with the flow with whichever hero I'm playing. Like I had 2 Silas wins today, for instance, just not trying to force any kind of play style too much. Just like, oh well, this is good. Oh, this is good. Oh, that is good. So yeah, pretty. I also had a really fun Leaper game, where
I'm aware.
Yeah, it's on YouTube. It's a gem, right? If you want to see it, it's crazy. It's like double golden Titus or Baron for those of you who prefer that. So they stack now, right? So I had one fight where my frog attacks and dies. They then snipe both my Barons with Wind Fury. But because the
Oh.
frog, yeah. But because the frog jumped so much already, the parrots actually were like doing a lot of work even without the Titus, right? Because it still just moves the stack of frogs and puts it somewhere else. So I didn't even take damage, right? Where literally the first hit the first hit past my taunt was both my barons dead, and I still won that fight. And I'm just sitting there like, this is so dumb.
Huh.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
pretty crazy.
I know. I was like, huh. Yeah, double Titus is pretty dumb.
I don't like that you can make leapers good, personally. Maybe I have an agenda, which I do.
No. I'm usually not on the leaper side, but yeah, that game I couldn't say no. Bob was very very generous with the frog offerings.
Very, very fair. My
How was
week
your week?
was all right. They had the season reset, but it's still more of the same. The season reset doesn't really do anything, I would say, in the game for me, just because my MMR is so wonky. So it just doesn't affect me. It's like I didn't get a reset.
So you're kind of on your own
Yeah.
playing field.
Yeah,
And it's
yeah.
you plebeians enjoy this change. For me, it doesn't do anything. Okay.
I don't know. I mean, hopefully they do something about it, because I've talked about it for sure. I have a couple videos on it now. But otherwise, YouTube is going decent. Got a little jingle someone created for me that they've now given me extra work, but I'll try to incorporate it somehow. But other
That's
than
rendering, right? Oh no.
yeah, I try not to have to do this extra rendering. So like my goal is to incorporate it without the render.
So just fire up OBS and play the damn thing every time.
Yeah.
That's less work for sure. Yep.
I mean, legitimately, that's like my current plan. Actually,
That's how we do it. Yeah. I know, should have known.
Hey, that's efficiency, man. That's how I'm doing it. But yeah, other than that,
it's one take, right? Yeah. It's only one take. We're doing
it. We do it live,
that's we're doing it live, yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's it. I should have said that. Fuck it, we're doing it live. Okay.
So yeah, I've been having a pretty decent time. It's always interesting, in that sphere. But overall, let's get into the meat of this, right? We all know what we're talking about. Buddies are back, apparently.
almost back, right? They
Buddies
will be
are
back.
almost back, theoretically, copium. Something like
Yeah.
that. Is that better?
Hypothetically speaking, we are getting buddies.
Yeah. So they did announce this week that they wanted to change things. We will be going through their post, but overall, the main takeaway is that they want to be bringing buddies back. So not prizes, not quests. They decided on buddies. I do think that is interesting because I think buddies are the hardest one to incorporate, in my opinion, out of the three. Since you have to do it for every single hero, and you have to try to balance all of them or have them work. And there are some things that weren't super popular with buddies that will be addressed. So we'll start talking about that. But I do think buddies were pretty popular in my opinion. I'm biased, right? Because we've asked before like buddies or quests. I'm like buddies, and she's like quests, right? So I'm a little biased here, but I do like buddies, so kind of cool. It makes me feel like, oh, should I take a day to
Oh,
play?
he's feeling the itch. You feeling the itch? Okay.
But I will try to remain strong here. If it ends up looking like super fun, I might be like, ooh, maybe Fridays or Hearthstone.
A couple games can't hurt, right, pal? Just a couple games.
Hey, Shady, don't be that guy.
Just front page leaderboard. It doesn't have to be top one, right? It could be front page.
But it is interesting and definitely a cool change to see. We definitely were hoping for more things. What's your current thoughts before we dive into it?
Oh, I think it's great. So I do prefer quests, but I thought buddies were a ton of fun. And I talked about it already in the past, where I do think that's where we're headed with the future of BGs. I'd be surprised if the norm isn't going to be, an added mechanic. Where I think if we're now used to it, how much, at least for a lot of people, how much cooler the game can be than like, oh, I tripled into a Theo, let's start buffing, right? The game's still really fun, right? I still enjoy myself playing it, but I enjoyed myself more with quests and buddies. So yeah, I'm definitely excited about this. It's not like I'm sitting, oh, it's not quest, so it's bad, right? So and yeah, I mean, there's of course the element to it that they'll be introducing a lot of new buddies, because a lot of heroes that have been released since the buddy meta. So we'll tackle that as well today. See what all the new buddies are about.
Yeah, well, I don't know if they've revealed all the new buddies, but they have revealed. They have?
I think this is it. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
because post buddy, right, was Nagas, I
Yeah,
think.
yeah.
So I think they started off with Ajara and Vash. So I think it's somewhat chronological here.
Okay, that's cool.
Or Terran's the last one, Ajara's the first one, at least in that post.
Okay, well, great then. All right, let's go through their posts. Battlegrounds bring back buddies for the midseason update 25.6. So that's the next patch, essentially.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So they said that they were going to announce, or they were going to drop the patch notes next week, right? So it's Friday right now, so somewhere next week they'll drop the patch
So like
notes.
Monday, Tuesday usually.
Yeah. Maybe it's drop notes on Monday, drop patch on Tuesday.
Something like that.
One can hope, right? Yeah. But we'll see. So at the very least, we're getting patch notes.
Okay, sounds good. Buddies are those friends, sidekick of press, or specific to each battleground hero designed to synergize with their style of play. They're earned throughout the match and can give you a big boost when you need it most. Now the buddies are back. We're building on that friendship with a few updates. First of all, new buddies. So buddies are back for every hero that had a Battlegrounds buddy before. And Battlegrounds has grown since buddies were last year. So now they're making more best friends. So I'm assuming this means that the old buddies are going to stay, essentially. They're not going to.
Well, I'm assuming that's what the patch notes are for.
Okay.
Where right now they haven't announced any balance changes. I would be shocked if there's nothing, right? Like they looked at the ending of last buddy meta and be like, you know what? That was perfect. It was nothing too strong. Definitely wasn't broken that you just bought a bunch of shit with Gallywix and made 2 big ass cleaves in one turn. No, that was totally normal. So Yeah, I do assume that there will be some adjustments.
Okay.
Now, we'll also have a different way to acquire the buddies. So that makes it more difficult for them to anticipate stuff because you'll have an extra variable, right?
Mm.
Now, there might be some buddies that were really good in the old system that might be worse now because the meta might also be different. But yeah, we'll be tackling that, of course, right? Saying what's going to change and how it might impact the game. But yeah, I'm assuming that's what the patch notes are for. I'd be very surprised if there's zero adjustments to prior buddies.
Okay, so let's talk about the buddy meter.
Yeah.
So the buddy meter, we've memed on this personally.
Many times, yeah. At length.
Yeah. But yeah, the buddy meter will be going away. Little golf clap for me. There will be a buddy button in its place that you can press to get your buddy immediately. So reading that sounds broken. I can just get my buddy. But there's more. The initial cost to get your buddy will be based on the buddy's tavern tier. So it's going to be different how much it costs. Buddies will be having your tavern tiers reworked. So that is a little bit extra variable you were talking about for all the old buddies.
Yep.
And now there can be buddies of tavern tier 1 through 6. We don't know what that exactly means. I guess it will. Okay, the cost to buy a tavern tier 1 buddy will start at 11 gold. Okay.
Yep.
11 gold is still a lot, right? And the cost
there's a reduction of minimum 2 per turn. And if you win, it's 3 per turn. So that'll be the system. Yeah. So that's now the system where you'll still have that snowbally element to it, but it's not that, oh, if I don't, fill the meter, I'm just dead. Because you're still getting 2 coins reduction instead of 3 coins. So it's not, the difference isn't as big as getting destroyed in the buddy meters. Like that was awful, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you get like, oh, I lost the fight. I get 1 gold reduction instead of, or I get 1 gold less. So I get 2 gold reduction instead of 3 gold reduction.
Okay, so losing a fight loses you a gold. I guess that's the way to look at it.
Gold. Yeah, you get a gold for winning or tying. Tying is also 3 gold reduction.
Okay, nice. That's good.
We can look at that as a gold, but sometimes it'll also just mean that, oh, I'll be able to get it or not, right? Because it'll be like, well, actually, no, with the change now, the gold cap is gone, right? So before you wouldn't be able to sell, like, let's say it was like 9 out of 8,
Mm-hmm.
you wouldn't be able to get it, right? Before, or let's say 11 out of 10, right? But now you can actually go up to 11, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, because I was thinking like, man, if you lose it and it's like, I can afford it, I just can't exceed the gold cap. That'd be really painful, right? That loss.
But I mean, would you be paying 11 for a buddy? Is that like?
I mean, I guess it depends the situation you're in. I mean, within the meta, probably not, right?
I guess for maybe the tavern, the 2 copies of a buddy, maybe you'd pay 11 depending on the buddy.
Yeah, and also it's like maybe if it's like a tavern tier 6 buddy, right? Because they talked about how they're increasing so maybe a tavern 5, tavern 6 buddy, that might be worth your whole turn. A very hypothetical, of course. We still need to see all the reworks if they've done reworks and gotta be in the game, right? We gotta feel it. We gotta see the flow. Before it was the same thing. We're like, oh, I don't know what we're gonna do. Then it was like, oh, Jeep Curve is just really good because you stay on 1 for the extra turn. Works out really well with the buddy meter and all that. So those little things we're just gonna have to see by playing. It's not. That's very difficult to theory craft, right?
Yeah, no one's done the math, right? Like, this compared to the other system. Now you're gonna get your buddy same turn or turn faster. No one's done that. I'm assuming. It's too much work. Let's just assume no one's done that.
And I mean, it's so hard. You haven't seen all the cards yet. You don't know if they're removing minions, right? And in general, you just feel the pace of the meta, and that's going to be a big decider, right? Like certain things are way stronger in slower metas, but then if their meta is too fast, those things don't work, etc. So, yeah. But I mean, we're still gonna theory craft, of course, but it's just very difficult to accurately predict, like, oh yeah, of course everyone's going to be Jeep curving. We're like, no, let's just go 3-on-3, right? It doesn't matter if you lose. Like that kind of stuff, that's real difficult.
That's fair. Okay, I understand. All right. But wait, there's more. There's not more. They're lying. Follow the Hearthstone social media. Get new budgets today, then stay tuned for the patch notes next week. All right, this is where they confirm it about all the new Battlegrounds updates coming this patch, as well as the new Hearthstone's next expansion. Okay, cool. Cool. Big fan of buddies. Let's talk about the first one they've revealed. So, Watfin.
Yep.
After you guess correctly with Detective for Hire, get a plain copy of the minion. Oh. I've asked for this personally. Like, I'm like, why don't I get the minion? Sweet. What's your thoughts?
So what do you think?
I think it's decent.
Yeah, for me, it's one of those things that's like it's really gonna be like how tempo heavy is the meta. Like,
everything is gonna be hard to evaluate. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, for sure. But essentially, my prediction on this is that it obviously looks nice, right? Because you're getting extra economy. But if the meta is just use your buddy to then spike really hard, which what it was like before, right? You compare this to like a Mutinous buddy, for instance, that just triples the stats you have on the board. That's just going to change the meta into like, oh, I need to use my buddy to be strong straight away. So we saw this as well with other economy buddies where that was not so good unless you could really pop off, right? Like if you're a Baroff and you won your bets, you could really pop off. Can't you
get plain golden copies though? Isn't that broken?
Plain golden copies. No, plain indicates
because sometimes they show you a golden card. Don't you get the Wouldn't you get the golden card?
You'll get a plain copy, right?
It wouldn't be golden.
No.
Well, we'll see.
I mean, yeah, that would change things.
Yeah,
but
so also, like, I don't know.
You're also it's not like your scabs where you're being offered choices as well. Like you'll have one unit that's on their board, right? So out of their 6 or 7 units, whatever, they'll offer you one thing, right? So it's tough.
If it's not golden, then I'm not as interested. Whatever.
Yeah. So my initial take is that this might be a bit too slow compared to some other things we've seen buddies do. A lot of other buddies that I remember be like, oh, well, that's a lot better than getting an extra minion per turn. I could pop off a lot harder with that. So yeah, this felt slightly too slow.
But it's a beast, Shady. Don't you know all the beast synergy that's coming?
I will also say, like, this is in perfect Blizzard fashion. They called it Watfin, right?
Yeah.
For the Murloc Holmes synergy. So that's
they were so proud of this one. That's why they're featuring it. Obviously.
Yeah.
They're like, oh, this is perfect. We're gonna put this on as.
We're gonna do it. So yeah, like, but they do that beautifully, right? There's a lot of other stuff where it's really well referenced.
Fair enough.
Yeah, let's get to the other buddies. Then.
Yeah, let's get to the meat and potatoes of this. So here we have Ashara. Her buddy is Imperial Defender, so it's a 2/4 Naga. Whenever you cast a spellcraft minion on a different minion, you also cast it on this. That seems good because it means it'll double proc everything. Like your Atissas are gonna double proc.
Yeah, that's what I'm hoping, that it's like a Siren type thing where
that seems really solid.
You get Brute procs, you get Atissa procs, right? I think even if it wouldn't do that, that's still really solid tempo on Ajara because you are rolling. Like, this is a Naga. That's huge, right?
Yeah,
so it contributes to your show. It gets buffed by Atissa and all that. And, you know, if you somehow have to play like Menagerie, you can jug it, but whatever. But the tempo you gain by just pumping up a different minion and then this minion automatically being big, that kind of effect to me feels way better than something like a Watfin where you're just adding a little bit of economy, right? Because this is going to like immediately chunk people, right? It's on the board, you're strong. So yeah, I like this type of buddy a lot more than the economy kind of.
What does the golden one do?
I'm assuming cast twice. I think we do have the golden ones available. Let me have a quick look.
Okay.
In case there's anything weird.
Because that sounds also very crazy, no?
If you have a Tesla, like yeah, that's the thing, right? Is it going to work the way we think it's going to work? because that would
because it says cast, right? Like they're very like focused on the wording of things, and it says cast, so I assume it's gonna trigger.
So I'm gonna check the golden ones here.
And that sounds.
You also cast it on this twice. Yeah. So golden version does specify twice.
Sounds problematic to me.
Yeah. The thing is, you can keep this on your board.
Yeah.
It's not one of those weird things that you're like, I guess it's really good, but then I'm not going to be able to keep it around. So yeah.
And this will gain Divine Shield like so easily.
Yeah.
Like
it'll have shield, a
Wind
crap ton of
Fury.
stats,
I don't know. You can also have 2 of these instead if you just don't want to triple them. Right?
Which is not bad. I mean, Nagas do 1 board space though. So.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just saying, like, okay, I want double shield for free. Let me just run 2 instead. But I do think you're probably gonna triple this. But yeah, I mean, this seems interesting.
The spellcrafts aren't permanent. That's not a problem.
Yeah, no one really cares about that.
Oh, Siren. She didn't make the procs permanent either. She was absolutely batshit crazy broken, right? So Siren started out as a tier 3 as well. Then they made her a tier 5 and they're still crazy broken.
Yeah.
They had to just remove the card because like essentially the procs without having to do anything was broken because it interacted with the Athissa and with Brute and all that, and you just got massive. Now the thing that this does is it doesn't like proc your orgos. Right, like I think Siren was just spellcraft, right? It wasn't specified to Nagas.
No,
so I think Siren also procs your Orgo.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
So that's a next level dumb, right? When you're also proc your Orgos, but this is still pretty sweet. So yeah, this is but you can see why I was a little hesitant on the Watfin. I was like, well, I mean,
I haven't seen any of this.
No. But I'm also comparing it to like, okay, Vol'jin buddy, Mutinous buddy. Like I just remember buddy meta being very like, okay, get your shit together fast, right? That was buddy meta. It's like you get your shit together fast or you die. So yeah, okay, but yeah, this looks very promising.
All right, let's move on. All right, so we have it's the Natra tier. I don't remember his name. But his...
we're going that order. So the other order is Ozumat now, right? Because now you're not gonna go chronological, which is fine, right? I just want to say we're gonna do like the Naga.
We can go Ozumat then.
All right. So sure, okay.
All right. So his buddy is Tamuzo. So you're gonna have to tell me the order then, if we're doing it, because I
right. After this, it's Vosh, and then it's Togwagon.
All right. So it's Avenge 2 upgrade tentacles. I'm just gonna call it tentacles.
Upgrade tentacles. Okay.
Upgrade tentacles +1/+1. I like it. I like upgrading more tentacles. That's basically what I've been asking for ever since I started playing this hero. Seems good to me.
It feels very tame.
You think upgrading your tentacles is tame? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the natural stuff where it's not just enhanced through buddies. I think you're gonna come by just fine.
I see.
No, being serious about this, just compare this to some other shit.
Yeah, I feel you. It doesn't look that good. This is basically the undead card, right? Like the 5-drop, right? With Avenge 1.
That one's Avenge 1.
Yeah, I know, but it's the same thing, but it's worse, is what I'm saying.
When it's golden, it's the same thing. Right?
I'm saying it's a worse version of that 5-drop, and that 5-drop isn't that great, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, well, it depends how early you'd get it, right? Like if you get this fight kind of early, it's still nice. But yeah. Essentially, that's my takeaway is that if this was a 2-drop, I'd be thinking like, okay, that's early, that's fast, that's still kind of. Well, we also have to see, like, we have this timing in our head right now of what a 2-drop buddy used to be
I'm completely ignoring the timing personally.
Exactly, right? So that's going to be tough, where we have to see, okay, how fast is a 3-drop going to be with this system? How fast is a 2-drop going to be with this system? So I don't, instinctively, it's just too tame compared to what I've seen other buddies do in the past. Let's see.
It's also weird that it doesn't like upgrade itself, right? So this thing doesn't scale. It scales your minion, but it doesn't scale itself.
It is a beast, but yeah, it does indeed feel like it's a bit harder to keep.
What if it scaled both itself and tentacle? What do you think about that?
Yeah, then we have to start thinking tempo. Is that too good? I think that's definitely something they can explore. If this gets released, then it's just dog shit.
It looks bad.
Yeah,
we just looked
put
at
it next to the put it next to the Imperial Defender, right? And you're like, oh wow, okay, no.
All right.
It's also because the hero power is just so damn vulnerable, right? Leroy Queen, it's always taunted.
Yeah.
Like that's the problem. It's always taunted. So Leroy Queen, just find it. So the stats for the most part are wasted in the late.
Usually, when I play this hero, I just stop using the hero power.
Yeah, you stop spawning.
Yeah, so I like it makes this power so weird because I'm just like, my game plan is to not use the tentacle here. So it's like,
yeah. So that was my thought as well. Looks a little weird.
All right, who's next?
Vosh.
Lady Vosh. Where are you,
Yep.
Vosh? Here you are. All right, so her buddy is Call Fang Elite. After a spellcraft minion appears in Bob's Tavern. Huh. Gain a copy of its spell. Huh. That seems... Appears?
I know. And it's a 2-drop.
That's...
Again, right? Feels like the Naga stuff feels juicy. Right? So I definitely want to play some Nagas when this hits.
And then the golden version, you get 2 copies.
I'm assuming so, but I will confirm. But I can't imagine.
You're just a roll. How is there any way to easily roll? I guess elementals.
Yeah,
you go Ellie Nagas. That's my new strat.
Golden refreshing, and then just buy elementals and
exactly. You just roll, or you can also, I guess you could go pirates, but if you're going pirates, you already won. So
and we don't know what this animation looks like, right? It might completely nerf your augers.
No, please, let's not.
Yeah, like very slowly, like the spellcraft comes from the shop through your hand. It's like I can imagine
with
that,
these time-wasting animations. They just don't.
I can absolutely imagine this like being like. Stops the shop dead in its tracks. You're like, we know what initial Naga spells did to the game, right? Like, oh god, that was stupid.
Yeah, this seems potentially crazy if played well. It seems harder to, like, well, maybe not harder, but like it seems like the setup is different than the other one. But
it feels like you have to carry this minion to tier 6. And we'll have to see how easy that is.
Oh, right. You could hit Orgazoas and stuff like that.
Right,
that's true.
And Gretas.
Right, you hit Gretas.
Then you get a gun, right? So, we don't know. We don't know if they're going to remove any minions, right? Because they're like, oh, this is like, I can imagine like between all the buddies that are out there, they look at Greta and are like, yeah, this shit ain't gonna work. It's too good, right? So there's maybe some buddies that you're not supposed to be able to put a gun on, right? So like I have the same thing with Chronormu where I'm like thinking there's so many ways to make big things. Like they're gonna remove Chronormu for buddies, right? Copium. So
there's no way they're not going to, right? Like copium. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. Let me copiuming that. That's true.
Yeah. There's so many ways that you can blow up with buddies, with stats that Chronormu would just add to the silliness. And essentially I think that's my condition for the Coilfang Elite. It depends a bit on the meta. Like it's a 2-drop, right? So you do get that early tempo, and it's probably a lot easier to get the golden version, right? The 6-drop. So the downside, of course, is it can absolutely do nothing in a turn, right? If you roll 0 spellcraft, that's all. And early in the game, you don't really want to roll too much, right? You want to be buying cards. Right. Yeah, so this is one of those things that might feel really good, but then like you play with it and you're like, all right, didn't quite get it. Like, I want it to be good because it looks cool, right? So yeah, I think if you get the tier 6 with this shit, it pops off, right? You get Greta, you get Orgo, and then all the other stuff as well. But if the meta is going to be really about just fighting on tier 4 and stuff like that, this suddenly loses a lot of its value.
It's not gonna be about fighting on tier 4. I'll make sure of that. But it sounds interesting. What's next? What's next? Is there any tier 1s? No. Okay.
No.
What was the next one?
Togwaggle.
Togwaggle. Oh, that guy. This guy. Okay. So he has Vaxadred, the Drippy? Vaxadred? Is that how you pronounce it? All right, so it's
Waxadred, yeah, that's how I would pronounce it.
Waxadred, yeah. So it's a Tavern tier 4, 7/5 elemental dragon. So it's a mixed minion. Battle cry, refresh Bob's Tavern with the highest tier minion from each opponent's warband. Refresh Bob's Tavern with the highest tier minion from each opponent's warband.
7 opponents. Your shop is filled with their highest tier minion.
So just like 5s and 6s.
And then you hero power.
Do you get your opponent's minions?
Yeah. So Bob's Tavern, fill it with the highest tier minion from each. So it's like scabs times 7. It's scabs times 7 on that turn.
So you steal all of your opponent's highest tier minions. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
Huh.
It's like a test, right? It's like tests.
It's tests, yeah.
But then your tests, and you also have the ability to buy the whole shop.
Everything, yeah. I don't know what to feel about this one.
I mean, this is obviously really strong if you can do it. That's the problem, right? So it's a tier 4. And we've seen that in the past in buddy metas where there were some cool tier 4 buddies where you just kind of died before you got to do it. So this is super meta dependent. If the meta slows down a little bit, this gets very powerful because you steal all those cool cards, but then you need another turn after that to actually start using them. So if you can do this, steal the cards, and then not die while you're setting up, it's going to be very, very, very powerful.
How do you die? If you can buy this, play this, and hero power.
Well, how many times have you seen tier 4 buddies back in the buddy meta? People just kind of dying before they even got their buddy.
But now there's tier 6 buddies, Shady.
Yeah. Completely agree. It's going to be super meta dependent. It's going to depend on how fast you get it. It's going to be dependent on how fast the meta is. If this is something that you can consistently pull off, play it, and then also hero power survive, and then next turn utilize all the minions, yes, I think it's super strong. I just want to point out that buddies was very tempo heavy, so yeah, we saw a lot of tier 4 buddies just kind of like die before you got the.
Yeah, I'm not particularly sure how I feel about this one. I guess I'd have to see it in action, basically.
Yeah, I mean that's with almost every card here.
Nah, not every card.
Gonna be stuff for wrong.
I know all the what they're going to do except for this one. This is the only one. Copium. I haven't seen. What's the next one?
Next one is the Nathrius.
The Nathrius, huh?
The quest guy.
So his buddy is the Shady Aristocrat.
Yep.
The Mr. Shady, Mr. Aristocrat. I didn't know that. You discover a quest apparently.
I don't know about that.
Makes sense. You've been the spokesperson for quests. So it makes a ton of sense here. Complete it to get an 8 gold pouch. Wait a minute. So you can get 4 quests? No, that can't be right.
Wait, well, no. So it's Battle Cry, discover a quest.
Oh, the quest gives you a pouch. Okay, it doesn't give you the quest reward. Oh, okay. I was getting like.
My immediate question here is: does this work with Brand? Do I get 2 quests? And do I get 16 coins when I complete them?
I imagine you do.
Instinctively, yeah, right? So that seems like fun. But so the thing is, like, this is a 2-drop, so you're not gonna have Brand, right? When you play this. But for the follow-up, right?
The
follow-up,
the 2 other one, yeah.
But then again, it's like, do you really want to like that? That might take too long, right? You get the follow up, and then you have to complete the quest, and then you get the money. Yeah? So the follow up might take too long. I don't
I
know.
mean, you pay 3 gold for a brand to get 16 gold. I mean, I'm kind of down. I'm kind of
So yeah,
down, you know.
it's a long term investment. So.
Hey, you know, I completed it with. I wonder what if the quests are going to be the same difficulty of the regular
Yeah,
quests, or they're going to be like
exactly.
unique quests for this.
That is gonna make or break this card, right? Do
Mm.
they have an adjusted difficulty here? Because getting 8 gold is obviously not as good as pilfered lambs. So like
Oh.
this should be a fairly easy quest if you're getting 8 gold.
Well,
This
I mean,
shouldn't be.
it shouldn't be that easy, right? 8 gold is a lot. Right? It's
I mean, but look at other quest rewards.
yeah, I know. Yeah, I think I should be easier. I just don't think this should be like one turn completion, which some quests could be in the right
I don't know. Would I
circumstances.
would I prefer Parasol or this? Because
Yeah,
Parasol was pretty one-shottable.
I would prefer Parasol. Yes, I agree with you, Shady.
Yeah,
But
that's my point. So I feel like
this is a
this
battle cry. You
this
know,
could be one-shottable.
let's be reasonable here. I think you want this thing to be Omega broken. It's a tier 2 minion. It's a tier
I
2
mean, well,
minion.
yeah,
Shady is arguing for the shadier Crystal-Cut. I'm not surprised.
Well, I did say I do play more than Athreus now because that's the only way I get quests. So yeah, but this is super dependent, right? How easy, how difficult is that quest gonna be? That makes or breaks the card. So yeah, I mean that's pretty much all we could say about it. I think right now. Next up is
Sounds fun though.
Sylvanas.
Is
Yeah. It's nice. Some Monkus tier turns, right? Imagine if you do get the 16 gold.
who?
Sylvanas.
Sylvanas. Ah, okay. Ooh, it's a tavern tier 5. What does that mean? So her buddy is Natanos. Oh my god. Blight Caller. Did I do that correctly?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Nathanos, okay. Battle cry, remove a friendly minion. Give it stats to its neighbors. Oh, it's basically a ball of minions.
Golden ball,
Golden
but you can
ball,
put
yeah.
two Hydras there and it won't miss.
Hmm.
I know, right?
Hmm.
It's tier 5. That's the thing, right? And you're playing Sylvanas.
Yeah.
The mechanic itself seems busted, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Because we've seen this with Mutinous, right? Mutinous just makes a big thing and then eats it and bam,
It's
like gets it
basically
on the body.
mutinous.
Yeah, but a little bit more user friendly in that you can aim it very easily. So super, yeah. This is again one of those things. Do you get a tier 5 buddy within a reasonable time? And can you make up for the fact that you're playing Sylvanas? Because Sylvanas is just not a good hero at eye level. So that's I think the main problem I see here is that 1, you're playing Sylvanas, 2, it's a tier 5. If you get to this consistently, it's probably pretty good. But yeah, are you gonna survive? That's the main question.
I mean, does Sylvanas have surviving problems? Sylvanas is more like I can't get a comp that wins of an issue, no?
I don't know. I just have this idea that if you're supposed to be strong, your shit doesn't really die, and then your hero power is awkward. And I don't play Sylvanas. I don't see a lot of people playing Sylvanas, and when I see people play Sylvanas, they die.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
that's
so
fair.
that's my problem. It just feels a bit weird because you're making a tempo hero that relies on the minions dying. And
Losing, yeah.
It's like, but I'm winning because I'm buffing my board, so my hero power stops doing anything. So yeah,
I see what you're saying. The way
yeah.
the Sylvanas design is very awkward.
It feels weird, yes.
Yeah. Well, it's good buddy. So who can steal buddies again? They're gonna be happy.
That's the scabs are gonna be all over this. So.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm super excited to play Tess in the buddy meta, man. Like stealing buddies was so OP.
Who's next?
Next up is Jailer.
Oh, that guy. All right, so Jailer's buddy is More Sworn Soulkeeper. Death Rattle, summon 3 random tier 1 minions. Oh. Summon 3 random tier 1 minions. this is gonna be very tier 1 minion dependent. Let me tell you. Like, are we getting Icky Imp in here? Like, cause that's gonna be so crazy. Oh
This
man.
to me feels again a little bit too whatever compared to what other buddies are doing.
You get
Um,
3 tier 1 minions, Shady. That's crazy.
yeah, yeah. I think on lower MMR it's gonna slap, right? Where
Perfect.
the static buff from the hero power is so important. But I think high MMR where people are popping off,
Yeah, I agree. Like this isn't
it's
gonna
too
do
slow.
anything.
Yeah.
This is-
So,
If
yeah,
maybe
that's
this was like a tier 2. What is the golden version? Summon 6 tier 1 minions, or is it summon
I
2 tier 2 minions?
yeah,
Because
that's a
that
good
doesn't even
question.
help you.
I'll have a look.
I have no idea how the golden minion is gonna be better.
This might be indeed very weird. Wow, it actually says summon 6. That's so freaking useless.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
like this at all.
like it doesn't have like reborn or like reborn maybe, right? Would have been okay. Like
Yeah.
and then it's 4 board spaces, but yeah.
What's the point?
Yeah, it just feels I mean, maybe we're wrong, right? Maybe the high tempo is good, but it feels too meh compared to the other stuff we've seen the buddies be able to do.
All right, redesign this one. That's my.
Well, I mean, we'll play with it. Right?
Okay,
We'll play with
here
it.
summon 3 random tier 1 minions with reborn. There you go. Right? Doesn't that sound more insane?
Summon 6 indeed sounds way too like
Like
it's so Pepega. It's so Pepega. I was like, just summon. It's like Golden Boat, right? Like
they
Golden
were
Boat.
so lazy with this.
Yeah. Okay. Next one is Enhanso.
All right, let's go. Where are you, Enhanso? I skipped you. You must have been in the front. All right, so Enhanso mechanic has Enhanso Medico. Is he healing you? All right, let me see. Minions in Bob's Tavern with Taunt, Reborn, Windfree, or Divine Shield have +1/+1 for each. Yeah. I don't know. What minions have 3 of these? Taunt,
Bronze Warden's 2.
Bronze Warden is Wind Fury. I mean, it's Divine Shield Reborn. So it's like minions have +2/+2. Some minions.
Some minions. Well, some minions 3/3 because you roll and buff them with your hero power.
Yeah, I mean if you're super lucky. All right, I'm not gonna put that reality, right? That's one minion in the shop. So like some minions in Bob's Tavern have +2/+2. That's what I'm gonna dumb it down, right? And that looks not good to me at all. Okay.
It is a 2-drop, so
Yeah,
what
sure.
I can so in a high tempo environment, this can then allow you to start winning fights and then you just do other stuff, right? So that's what I see this do. So if it's a really fast meta, that's probably okay because you get it really early and then you get some tempo advantage from having bigger minions. It's kind of like Overseer on your board, right? You just get Overseer guaranteed.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, not top tier, right? You'd sell this in the late game for sure.
The problem is the hero power. The hero itself isn't that great either, in my opinion. So I'm not in love with combining that.
Mainly struggles with early game, I feel though. So
you think so?
Yeah, I think if you patch this up, I mean, it's obviously very RNG dependent, right? Because
I think if you also give this hero another proc, so instead of only hitting 1, you hit 2. So you do this ability plus you give it the second proc, then I'm okay with this.
So a second minion in the tavern would get
second
affected.
minion, yeah, essentially.
That's an interesting idea. There was another buddy that reminded me of this then. Just having that extra efficiency. Oh, it was Cindy, I think, where you steal from the tavern, right? But yeah, okay. Well,
that'd be my like. I looked at this for 2 seconds and now I've changed the card, which I do a lot. But I'm not the designer, but doesn't mean I can't have good ideas, per se. But yeah, not in love with this one personally. What's next? There's not that many left anymore.
No, we've got 2 left only. It's the undead guys, so Putricide and Enteron.
Who's Antaron? Oh, Antaron's the new one. So Future Sight is
Yeah.
the next one. Okay. How are they buffing this guy? They're not, I guess. That's why I was summoning a random undead creation.
Yeah.
I
Tier 4.
I don't love
that's
it.
suck and
Yeah.
it's random.
I'm okay with him not getting a buff, honestly. So
Yeah.
this is fine to me.
For me, it's like, is it going to be truly random? Then I think it sucks. Or is it going to be like a bit curated where, okay, these are the options from the
I see
random
what you're saying. Ooh,
Yeah. But if it's truly random, yeah, I mean, there's so much like tier 1 shit. So.
If you're pulling Eternal Summoners, well then okay, well you know what?
Yeah,
this is
pretty
kind of
insane. Right? Yeah, assuming that it's truly random, there's so much variance on this thing. So
yeah,
it doesn't look great.
Yeah, it doesn't look great. And then the last one is Shadowy Construct. Tavern Tier 3. After a friendly minion dies, give its neighbors +1/+1.
Harbinger, baby.
It is Harbinger. It is Harbinger. Oh, it is Harbinger.
It's Harbinger.
Oh, it is Harbinger. I guess you like this one.
It's so Harbinger was 2/2,
yeah.
but the it was only taunts. This is everything.
No.
So yeah.
You're like, I've got some good memories with the card like this.
That's a shit ton of tempo right there. I'll tell you what, chat. Shadowy Construct, that's a shit ton of tempo.
So we're playing this.
So I think my condition here is undead in.
Of course.
And then this slaps. Because then you have such a free mid game, like trying to get summoners. Because once this thing hits the board, you're just like buff. So assuming you have like 2 taunts or so, and you're just like blowing up.
Yeah, Risen Riders or whatever.
Like that's the because for those of you who haven't seen this effect before, there was a card called Harbinger and it was a tier 4 5/5 no type. Every time a taunt died, its neighbors got +2/+2, and like that's all just temporary. Of course, none of that is permanent because it happens in the combat. So you might look at that and be like, what does it do for me? It's like the answer is it wins fights repeatedly. Over and over. So what you used to do is you put like a deflecto on the left and then just like a bunch of acolytes in the middle. And the deflecto would just keep growing. It was so dumb, right? So same thing with this thing. You're going to put this in the back and then you're probably going to put something in the front that doesn't die, right? So it's going to keep soaking. So deflectobot in the front, shit ton of death rattles in the middle. And then there's always going to be things on the right? But on the left, the problem is they attack and they die. So you want something on the left that attacks and doesn't die. So Divine Shield's the easy answer to that, so that your buffs on the left don't go to waste.
I just put a Hydra there personally. That's me.
Yeah, Collins is like, come on, Hydra, attack at your Risen Rider. Let's go, baby. Don't die, please, don't die. So yeah, that's the problem, right? You put a Hydra there, it attacks anything with 4 power, the party's over.
That won't
happen. That's a free tip, right, from the podcast guys. Put something with shield on the left, so it soaks everything, and then that's a juicy board. I can guarantee you that. So that's the that's my take on it. I think that this is gonna be reliant on types that are in, but we already have that little bit of a pre-filter they do. I forgot exactly what it was, but you need to have 2 of the 4
something
token
like that.
things.
Yeah,
I think 2 of the 4 token. So I think if it's like undead out, but like the other 3 are in, it's probably still fine. But yeah, undead out and like demon out is maybe a little bit too sketchy, where you just don't have enough token shit.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting.
Yeah. I will be owning some unexpecting people with putting a deflector on the left and then having this thing in the back and be like, you're back. I missed you.
I wasn't an abuser of that strategy personally. You know, I'm a traditionalist here. I want my big 6 drops, please. What is this scabbing deflector stuff here? So
I was definitely a taunt comp enjoyer back in the day. So
I am a what am I? I'm an Imperial Defender player here.
Right, yeah, Imperial.
Get-
Yeah, I mean, I think that one's better. But yeah, this one, you're gonna catch people off guard in
yeah,
the
for
mid
sure,
game.
for sure.
They're just not used to that kind of strategy, right? They might look at this and be like, "These buffs aren't permanent. This is bad," and then you just slap them in a mid game, be like, "What the fuck? Why am I taking 15?" All right. Yeah, so that's it. That's all the buddies that's all the heroes that have been released since the buddy patch. So they didn't have a buddy yet. Now we know their buddy. Next podcast, we'll probably be talking about all the the massive amounts of balance changes that probably happen.
You think they're gonna have massive amounts of balance changes?
It was more tongue in cheek for that.
Oh.
Which I don't even think is necessarily bad if they don't do a massive amount. I don't want to see Galley like not touched because that was so fucking BS. I don't know if you guys remember that, like especially if you didn't play during
do you want to look at the old tier list that Beater had in the buddy meta?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
yeah,
a good idea. Oh yeah, that's
yeah, we can do that for funsies. That was good. So, but yeah, quick little explanation on how Gallywig's buddy worked. You would get +1/+1 on a battle cry for each gold spent that turn. Now, obviously, Gallywix is an absolute pro at spending gold, and Bran with ×2 to buff. So in the late game, when you got your second set of buddies, you would routinely make like 70 Hydras that were freshly picked up from the shop. And that was kind of tame still, right? So that's like 35 gold spent with a Bran on the board. Imagine if you like 40 gold, 50 gold, that was not so hard to spend. So getting 2 +100 buffs, it was so absolutely dumb. All right, let me grab the tier list.
Yeah. I mean,
you have it there. Okay,
I can post it on the thing, but
I see it on the stream.
yeah.
Yeah,
S tier, we've got Mutinous. I remember this. We have Aran. I remember this. We have Galawix. I remember this. We have Varden. I remember this.
Yeah.
We have Zephyrus, which I think some people didn't abuse enough, but I completely agree that was S tier. Then we had Brand, which I think once people understood how to play Brand, which I don't think fully that happened, but I also agree that one was also pretty nutty.
Brand is hard, right?
It was hard because you had to like kind of ignore the egg in a sense.
Yeah.
Like the egg, yeah, you play it, but like that's not important. You have the Brand. They're giving you got some battle cries. You use that for tempo, and then you pop off. You know, the egg was like filler. In essence, it was just like kind of playing Brand, really like high level Brand stuff. So that one I can kind of
then, right or not?
Huh?
Was Amalgadon? Amalgadon was still in, right or not?
I think so. Yeah, I think so.
So that does touch Brand's power level, right? No, Amalgadon makes it worse.
Yeah.
All right, so yeah, just looking back at this, like what made these heroes so good, Collins?
Oh well, Mutinous is kind of broke. I actually did not like Mutinous. I was so late on Mutinous. Let me be honest. I was so late.
A lot of people were late. Right? I don't know when I started telling you, like, bro, Mutinous is broke.
Yeah, you told me early, and I was just like,
so early. I was like, Mutinous is so. He's like, you and your tempo hero shady.
Yeah, exactly. I was like,
sure,
he just likes
buff your guys. You buffs your guys, whatever. Yeah.
Well, it was way better than I was thinking.
It was so good. Yeah. So again, so this is a fun episode, I guess, for people who just either want a little bit of a refresh, right, on how to play buddies, or just haven't seen him before, right? Like first, this is very exciting, right? Let's say you haven't played buddies before. This is very exciting. So the way how Mutinous strategy worked, like first of all, let's talk about the buddy. So the buddy would spit the stats on 3 other minions, I believe, right? So when you
something like that, yeah.
Did you had to eat it, right? It wasn't
you had to eat
right?
it. You had to eat it. It was a 5/4, and then you would put the stats on.
Yeah.
Was it 3 or 4? It might have been 4.
No. The first one was 3, and the second one was 5.
Oh, okay.
I think if you goldened it ever, right?
Yeah,
Which you did. You ate it straight away. So the strategy with Mutinous was to eat every single turn to make your starting minion bigger. Then when you got your buddy, you put it next to that one big ass minion you had, Then you ate that big ass minion,
Oh
can
yeah, it
jump to
was
the
three.
button.
It was three because
Yeah, yeah,
you
and
had
then
double deflector and something else.
exactly. And then the next turn was basically just find three things you want to buff, and then you would just have like at least like 20/20s or something.
Hmm.
So then you suddenly have like three 20/20s on the board, and sometimes better if you would do chromoing stuff.
Yeah.
Because chromoing still doubled back then. So you'd get like giga high damage, right?
Hmm.
You'd sometimes get like if you had a really good game, you get like 50 or 60 damage to
Yeah,
the
yeah,
fire
yeah, yeah.
shield, which is outrageous, right? Like super outrageous. You get like a golden chroma wing and then you're buffing that. It's like, oh my God. So yeah, so Mutinous was really dumb because that power spike was guaranteed. You were pretty much never dead before you ate that buddy. And after you ate that buddy, you were not losing for a long time because
Mhm.
that's a big power spike. So yeah, that's why Mutinous was so good back then. You were essentially top 4 from the start because it was like so strong.
I love the chat. And then you sell all of your void into Chronomer, and then you split Chronomer into your buddy again. Like,
Yeah,
oh
that's what I
my.
mean. Where like you can't leave
That
Chronormu in,
that
right? Like
sounds so stupid.
it's already really same thing with Vol'jin, right? Imagine if Chronorm was in with Vol'jin.
Yeah.
Right? It's so dumb. So yeah, whatever. Okay, Arana. What did Arana do?
Whee! Elementals. Whee!
Yeah, I think the main strategy was the Swamp Striker shit, right? But yeah, you could do other stuff as, or was it
No, I don't
still
think so.
elementals?
I think it was just elementals. I don't think the Murloc stuff was in yet. I'm not 100% sure about that though.
So you used the gold. So essentially, the golden buddy made you roll for free, pretty much.
Yes.
Every time you played a minion,
You
you
gotta
roll.
roll for free.
It's like a golden
Yeah,
recycling,
you
right?
got
When it's
golden
gold.
recycling, yes.
Yeah, so golden recycling, but it works on anything. So yeah, maybe it was still Party Rock. It's very possible. So, but I mean, that's not even relevant for this explanation, right? So you just stay on low tier, and then you use whatever you can to buff. So Party Rock, you just get your party elementals, and then your golden buddy. Swamp Striker, you would just get honchos, Swamp Striker, and then play Tads and stuff.
There might have been honchos. There might have been.
Maybe, but
Yeah.
I seem to remember I did Party Rock stuff with the buddy, so maybe they were both in. Maybe it was just Party Rock. It's but not relevant, right? So that's essentially the strategy. You would just stay low tier, and again, extremely consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Again,
That was
probably
the
top 4 from the
yeah.
start.
That was the benefit of these heroes. They were very consistent.
Yeah, you're like Arana, almost like top 2 from the
Yeah,
start.
yeah. It was crazy. I was like, oh.
Yeah, you got so strong so early, so you just didn't lose health. So then you'd basically lose to the Galliwix right, in the finals.
Yeah.
Like, the
Speaking of
Galliwix are killing.
Galliwix, yeah.
Yeah,
Infinite
Galliwix
money
are
plus infinite stats
pretty good.
equals
Pretty good.
broken, yeah. So Galliwix would give you a buff for every single card that you've played. Was it like that?
No, it's way better than that.
It's
Cons.
gold, right? No.
Every single gold
Gold.
you spent that turn,
Yeah.
and it's a battle cry, so you
Yeah.
can double it up with Brand. You can triple it up with Golden Brand. It's absolutely batshit crazy.
I hope that changes. I'm just gonna say
That's what I was saying. I hope we have a few balance changes because they were so dumb. Like, so the main problem here is that when you survived as Galliwix to get your second set of buddies, the game ended.
Mm-hmm.
That's like a 90+% closer. Like Galliwix surviving to get the second set of buddies is like 90% plus win rate. Because what happens is you just like you pick up like a 2/4 Hydra, and it's if you use both your buffs there, it's going to have over 100. Like pretty much by minimum,
That's
right?
not
Like
even
if you
that's not even like my problem with the card. The problem is it gives Galley a stabilizing turn.
early in the game, that's true.
And like why? What why are you giving Galley a way to stay alive consistently when you already know the hero itself, if it stays alive, wins. So it's like the downside of Galley is like, oh, it's so risky. You gotta, if you don't do well early, you're going to lose horribly. But then you add this stabilizing factor, and then it's like, well, I just need to survive till this turn, then I insta win. Doesn't really make a lot of sense from the design aspect there. So that was my problem. I do agree, like late game you auto win, but like you were already auto winning. Now it's
You're
just so
already
easy.
galleting. Yeah, that's very true. The sweet memories I have of this is when I'm playing Tess, and I've got my buddy, right? So I'm gonna steal their buddy, but then they also left their buddy on the board. So you're like, oh, two of them.
What
No,
Tess is another hero where I hope it's like not the
yeah.
same.
Oh my god.
The way it worked was too
Where
toxic.
is it on Beater's tier
It's on
list?
B.
'Cause
It's on B. Or like
it's on B.
yeah.
I probably would put it higher just because of
Yeah,
how I
I'd
love
put it
playing
higher
Tess in
too.
the
I
past.
like maybe like Tess is a hero when your opponents are better. It's better, right? So maybe he's just like I'm an NA, you know.
He's like, I'm so much better than everyone else. Like, I don't need your shitty cards. Okay, yeah.
For sure.
Oh man,
Yeah, Tess and Scabs, look, not
stealing
very
buddies.
fair.
So good.
Yeah. But Varden,
I'm happy to finish S plus.
yeah,
right?
yeah. I'm with you, right?
Next week we can look at the others
The other
depending
stuff,
on
yeah.
what the time allows.
Yeah, Varden. I don't remember Varden. I know it was strong. I don't remember it.
Well, Varden had a buddy that the hero power. I'm not sure. I think when Varden was released, the hero power did not automatically copy the highest tier minion, but the buddy would make it copy the highest tier minion. And it would also buff it. So like +2/+2 on the copy or so.
Oh.
Yeah. So I think that originally Varden wasn't as good as Varden is right now because it was just random shit that you copied. Once again, I might be wrong on this, right?
It
but
gave
like,
stats equal to its tavern tier.
Yeah. So 2/2 for 2s, 3/3 for 3s. So that was my my memory that like the buddy made it target the highest tier minion. So yeah.
Oh, I remember. You could make like gigantic cleaves like early with this thing because you get like a golden cleave with like +8/+8 or something, and then
I can look up the changelog for Varden.
Yeah, sure. Anyways, Varden was already good, I think. But yeah, I don't fully remember. Wasn't it a Tavern 2 minion? Wasn't that why it was like very strong as well? You could get it super early, and then you just get the stats, and it scales really well. I don't know if it didn't target the highest tier minion. I'm not like fully sure.
It's possible here. I'm just checking it here.
Regardless, right? It was a good hero, and I don't think there was like anything special with the buddy meta, honestly, that made it like good. I think it was just a good hero, and like a lot of people like playing it. There might have been some.
There's probably some change I'm then replacing this with because I don't know where this memory comes from then, but yeah. Anyways, I just have this feeling that Varden, when buddies got removed, was like pretty meh, and then something happened and he got good again. But
Really, I always liked Varden from the beginning. Pretty sure Varden didn't target highest tier minion, and had to get reworked. Okay, someone is siding with you, Shady.
Well, I'm seeing if there's a change. Like it's not so easy to find, but whatever. Okay, we can let the listeners correct me on that if I was wrong. Anyways, yeah, so good, right? Varden's one of the best heroes right now as well. So.
Yeah. Well, I wonder why. I wonder if there's a minion that Varden can really abuse.
I had one game where I was dead, and then I rolled 2 Chronar moves, and then I got second place instead. So it was pretty good.
I was also watching. I was watching a streamer, and they had Evil Twin, and they wrote Chronormu, and I was like, sell everything. And they're like, I guess I'll sell everything but one. So they kept the Divine Shield minion. I was a little disappointed, but they won the game, so I was like, all right, easy win. You sold everything for Chronormu, and you got 2 of them. It's that easy.
Yeah. Well, Evil Twin is essentially Varden, right? You're getting the double up. Yeah. Oh man. Oh, this one's like maybe like even a little hard to explain, right? Like Zephyrus.
Well, Zephyrus would give you a copy of a pair, I guess. Would give you a card that you didn't have a pair of, essentially. So what you would do is you would You triple on 8 gold, get a 5-drop, play the buddy, get another copy of the 5-drop. So you get double 5-drop, and then next turn you could combine that and get another 5 essentially, or 6 if you really wanted to. But usually you get like, so you'll get 2 copies of a card and another 5 a lot of the time. And what you'd hit is you'd hit like double Mama Bear, or you hit like double Nomi, or you hit like double Hogger, or something of that variation, and that would really just carry you, as well as you still have like more copies of doing that. And then after you get the second copy of the buddy, right, you're copying 6-drops, you're copying Amalgadons, you're copying Brands, you're copying whatever you need. And with brand does work there. Like, it just gets so stupid where you're just like, ooh, I'm getting infinite gold. I had a lot of games where I'm just like, well, I can only use one of my buddies this turn because this is going to give me, 50 gold, essentially, in terms of like how much things I could do. So
you get like Golden Brand and you copy your Primal Fin. You're like, well, that's my turn gone.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so pretty strong hero for sure. Had a really good early game, and then if you got a good hit, your late game is insane. So
the flow was the first hero power was used to get the 5, and then the buddy was used on the 5 to get the golden 5.
Yeah,
that was the normal flow. So yeah, you'd even have 1 hero power left after that power spike.
Yeah,
kind of crazy, right? All right, and then we already touched on Bran a little bit.
Yeah.
Bran's buddy was a 2-drop, an egg that when it died, it would feed you a battle cry.
Yeah.
Which was okay, but you did have to part with it relatively fast if you weren't extremely strong. If you were extremely strong, you would just milk this thing forever, right?
That was me. I was a milker.
Milking, baby. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a snowball effect, right? The longer you can keep it, the more shit you get for free. The stronger you get, the longer you can keep it, etc.
Yeah.
So,
and you just have to make sure that you are good with using brand abilities and like popping off and making sure you're not wasting your gold. Right, and if you could do that, like you're still just an early game with a brand on your board. Like, it's so strong. So this one definitely required the most work out of all of them we've talked about, but the payoff could be really good.
Yeah, brand is essentially, here's a bunch of resources, use them, and for top players, that's extremely good. And if you're not confident, you're gonna get a lot of those resources. They go to waste, and then obviously brand isn't as strong. So yeah, it's all about how comfortable are you with just being provided with extra resources. Like, how greedy can you be? Like, do you make maximal use of those extra resources?
You just check to confirm, and Varden was changed to target highest tier minion during buddy meta. Okay, so you are correct, Shady.
Well, I just had this feeling of like, this Varden thing.
I knew I shouldn't have doubted you. I knew it. As soon as you started talking, I was like, he's going to be right, isn't he?
Okay, well. But yeah, I mean, that's very likely going to be similar, right? So yeah, I mean, so difficult to predict now because we have to see the patch notes, right? We have to see all the buddies, like what's getting reworked, what's not. And then even after that, because buddies was so tough to gauge when we hadn't played with it yet, because the game just fundamentally changed with how much you were scrapping. You were just fighting, scrapping, fight, hit, buddy meter, farm.
I don't know if it's gonna be as scrappy due to the the button change, where it's not as game changing.
I think at the start it's going to be, just because people will have that idea.
Memory,
but I agree that it's way more possible that we're gonna see like 3-on-3. If someone went 3-on-3 in a button meta, you're like, oh, they're dead.
Yeah, exactly.
Every time, right?
Yeah, there's no way you can recover.
Yeah, they get their buddies so late because they farmed jack shit for the meter. No way. But now you're like, oh, they're like 2 or 3 gold behind on their thing.
Yeah,
that's way different of a feeling than, oh, your buddy's 2 turns late. So exactly, that's it's going to open up different curves. Before, it was kind of just like you buy a 1-drop, then you buy another 1-drop, then you deep curve, and then you buy 2 more 2-drops,
or
right?
you stay on 1 again, and you buy 2 more 1-drops.
Sometimes it's like, oh fuck, I need that meter, man. I'm gonna cycle that bacon and put the gems on my pup pod and hope they're crumbling. I hope that their Chroma Wing gets one shot by my 4 damage pop pot now, and then they lose the game instantly.
Yeah, that's a little toxic, Shady. We
Like
don't recommend that.
I remember in the buddy meta putting the pup pots last, right, to not attack with the pup pot, so
Oh,
that their Chroma Wing would go into the pup pot, right? Like that was so dirty, but yeah, because if you attack first, or you move your shield, and then if they crash into it, they get their value anyway. So yeah, because that was extremely tilting, where a lot of people went all in on building like 1 or 2 big minions. So if your big minion hit into a divine shield, you got nobody meter. You got the same value as like dealing 1 damage, and
it was crazy bad. Like it was so toxic. I hated it. Yeah.
that was such an obvious flaw in the system. It's like, oh, you hit into a divine shield, get fucked, you lose the game. Like that was like, I've lost the game on turn 2. This has been pleasant, right? Okay.
Yeah, definitely glad they changed that. You know, if it came back in the same iteration, that would be this whole discussion. We wouldn't even be talking about the buddies. We'd just be like, hey guys, did we not
just
learn?
like 4 months of looking at Pop Pot and be like, ah! Okay. I missed it. Okay. Okay.
I do want to talk more, finally about, maybe a card that could see some adjustment in some way before the buddies come out, I don't know. I think this card.
We haven't talked about that card at all.
We haven't, we haven't really, I just think that this card, Chronormu, probably shouldn't exist in Buddy Madame. It's already probably shouldn't exist now. Like, right now. And with how buddies tend to impact the pace of the game and how powerful it tends to be, just don't think you really want a card that just gives you the ability to switch tempos or scale for free or do like some of these crazy scaling options and not losing any value from doing any transitions and things like that. So yeah, definitely.
Buddy meta in particular, right? There were so many instances where you just all right, I got to start selling shit off my board here because I'm doing things.
Yeah. You get so much gold, right? Like, like the Phelan buddy with the brand.
Oh my god! Can you imagine you have a Chronormu in the shop and you're doing that?
You're just like, I don't have any, I don't have room. I just got to sell everything. This thing is like 100, 200, just scaling, and I'm just like, I don't know about this. Yeah, so yeah, it definitely seems like you want to not have this in the game. That's the one I would be looking at. I think there's maybe a little bit more, but. Also the pirate Naga, right? Also that one could also be pretty problematic. Greta, right? Yeah, Greta. But
that's one that I'm not like 100% sure of.
Yeah. This one I'm pretty sure of, right? The other one, that one is.
I was thinking like, Greta. Is there anything like really stupid with Greta, right? Like that can happen with buddies, and it's like, like there probably is something where it's like, oh yeah.
Even the buddy Nagas that were revealed, I would say, are pretty stupid. Greta.
Yeah, if you get a gun for free, rolling that.
Gun for free or doubling the casts, right? So. You have the Tissa, you double the cast. Yeah. Everything you're playing is like +3, like pretty easily, right? It's just like, okay, well, that's stupid. Also, like, you put the gun on something else, and then the thing will also take the gun, right?
That's
like,
true.
Isn't that just like kind of stupid?
Yeah. Oh my god.
So. I don't know. That one, Greta, it seems like, maybe we...
Jara, yeah. If you can level on a Jara, Jesus, that's going to be so toxic. Because you just go to 6 and you pull a Greta from your hero power, and then you just take off. You're
it's gone. Permanent, right, as well, with the first one?
No, that's
not
Vosh.
Permanent. Oh, well, Lady Vosh, this happens.
Yeah, Vosh will be able to permanently golden the Coilfang elites. So you're getting. Well, I mean, Vosh's buddy is 2 stars, right? So you kind of golden that already.
You golden it already, yeah.
But still, I mean, Vosh with Greta is dumb no matter what, right? You just like I get 1 golden knockout per turn. Yeah. Like it's pretty good hero power.
It is a pretty good hero power, yeah. So.
I've played it 1 time where I got a Greta, and yeah, I won that game quite easily. Pretty dumb. I was like, ooh, another golden wrangler. You get this Hydra in the front, it's like, ooh, 2 golden wranglers and a Hydra. This gets pretty big pretty
Yeah,
fast. And then
I
like
see.
yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say like the golden wrangler like also affects the gun, so like the gun also gives +4. Like when you have the 2 golden wranglers, like just putting a gun on something gives it 8/8. So tough.
Yeah, so yeah, that I'm just saying, I could see some problems there. So, but those are the two maybe to look into. There's probably more, but just wanted to initially thought that. But we do like the improved buddy button thing. That sounds like a good idea. So we'll just have to see. It's interesting they haven't shown any tier 1 buddies. That's also what I want to know. Like, what do the tier 1 buddies look like?
Well, I guess that's a good way to buff stuff that was just
Really bad,
garbage.
yeah.
I was like, well, let's just make it 1-star, and then maybe 2 weeks in, you're like, it
One
probably
star
shouldn't be.
is the whole meta. Because
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
1-star cards just out tempo everything else, like it did in the beginning. So I could definitely see that happening again.
The first 2 weeks of VGs was like Jam Illidan, yep.
Yeah.
Any 2-star buddy, yep.
Yep. Yuppers. I like Zarella. Like the early Zarella. Just
Is
like,
that a 2-drop as well?
yeah, it was a 2-drop. Yeah.
Jesus, yeah, I like it as a 2-drop.
She's,
Yeah, that was good.
she's just like, yeah, you're a 2-drop. Welcome to my team.
Well, good times ahead, guys. Lots of like you're gonna have to be okay with some craziness. That's essentially the thing. Like buddies come out, certain things are not gonna be balanced, and you just have to hope.
What? You don't
that
trust in the Blizzard design team to perfectly balance from onset? How
Yeah,
dare
like
you, Shady?
every single interaction with everybody, with every new card they made. Yeah, good luck with that.
They have a huge track record of doing that. What are you talking about? I hear you. Of course, it's going to be hard. I wouldn't imagine getting it right on my first shot anyway. So, but overall, we're gonna have to wait until tomorrow, or not tomorrow, till next week to see the full patch notes. I'm assuming, and then we can really dive deep. Oh no, next week is gonna be a long one, isn't it?
Well, we'll see, right? With some luck, the buddy meta's already out.
Oh,
Then
but then it's gonna be even longer. Isn't that what
even
you're
long. Well, less speculation at that point. But yeah. So
yeah. But yeah, we'll have to see for sure. But yeah, hopefully that is it for us this week. Hope you guys enjoyed it. You can find us on the internet and on the webs and on the YouTubes and on the Twitters and Twitch. Next week should be fun.
Yeah, it's exciting. Yeah, but it's really fun.
Yeah, I'm definitely excited to see how it changes. Not that I'm really playing, but I'm looking with a stern eye. That's me right now. Like, if there's another tournament, I could just win it. That kind of thing. Covium. That's full Covium.
With the meme of the guy looking over, right? And Snap is like, "Hey, stop looking at buddies. Why are you looking at buddies?"
They can't do anything about that. But yeah, all in all, should be good. We'll see you guys in the next one. Take care of yourselves and have a wonderful rest of your day.
Have a good one.